And welcome, everyone. Um, just going to wait for my guests to come in. We haven't had Mike come in yet. So we can do some chit chatting. Yesterday's stream, if you've seen that, it was amazing. It was well done. Um, and yeah, I had a good time with the guys yesterday, talking about Pathway. And yeah, so I hope everybody will check that out. Ooh, we have two people here. Welcome. We're just waiting for the guests to come in. So, just gonna check some stuff here. Hey Ted, I don't know if you're listening, but thanks for liking that. We're still waiting for the guests to come in. Yeah, so now I'm streaming on YouTube right now. So, hey Robert, good day. Thanks for joining. Yeah, now so you can watch it on YouTube and Facebook. Now, yesterday we had it on LinkedIn and Facebook. I can only stream to do two different platforms. So today I decided to do YouTube. So this is my debut on YouTube. Well, I put other videos up. I did some photography stuff, and I did some music videos. So I've got a different channel with my stuff on, but this is my Takeout Comics channel on YouTube. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully, I got the a title well enough that people on YouTube can find. So yeah, like I said, I'm still waiting for Mike to come in. And he's got a book called Invisible Capes. It's a guide to unleashing your superhero within. So he published a book. Just trying to see how long ago he did that. You can get it on Amazon. If you're in Canada, it's only $16.50. Yeah, so he's got quite a few good reviews here. I have somebody here that said there's a review from a Dwayne. I know a Dwayne. We call him Dim. He works at the comic book store in Kitchener, looking for heroes. So I'm just popping to another screen. So I'm just gonna be popping in and out just to make sure. See if he comes in. Yeah, I don't want to go too far down Amazon. I'll get lost looking at all the stuff, and I'll spend all my money. See if there's anything new in the comic book industry. I suppose most people have heard that well, there's supposed to be rumors. I don't know. I was watching a friend's video this morning. It was saying it might not be true that Diamond or DC, yeah, DC Comics left Diamond. So don't know. Be interesting because the stores I don't think are gonna handle that too well. You know, a lot of popular books. You know, who's seen the Bill and Ted's Face the Music most excellent first trailer? I saw that this morning. I thought that was really cool. Hey, we got Mike in. Let me add him. Hey, Mike.
Hey, how are you, William?
All right. I was just browsing around on the internet.
Yeah, sorry about that. Just got a little hung up doing some other, working on a ton of projects right now. So there's a lot of things going on my end. But I just want to say thank you for having me on. This is awesome.
Yeah, no
It's excited
problem.
to talk to you. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was just actually watching. I was listening this morning to something about that DC, the DC Diamond thing.
right.
Everything I've read and everything I talked to seems to be a lot of speculation, though. Like it seems like it's a real thing, but everybody's just like, well, now that DC left Diamond, we're not going to make any money. But there's nothing. It just seems like they're all afraid of something new. It doesn't seem like anybody has any like. There's like whoever's going to distribute DC Comics. It doesn't look like anybody has any actual numbers on what that looks like. Like nobody knows what the shipping costs are. Nobody knows what the profit margins will be at the store level. They're just like, oh my gosh, they left Diamond, so it's well, this is the end of comics.
Well, do you think that you should have done that years ago when they were part of Warner Brothers? Not Warner. Was it not Warner Brothers? Who's the TV company that bought them up?
Well, Warner Brothers owns DC,
Warner
right?
Brothers, yeah, but wasn't it something else? There was another company, or there's some they merged, or some Warner's merged with somebody else, with Ted Turner's company.
With Turner Broadcasting, possibly, yeah. I can't remember, but I know that Warner Brothers owns all the rights to all the comics and cartoons and everything right now, right? So it's kind of nice to have versus what Marvel has, where it's just like the TV and movie rights are under Disney, but the comic book rights aren't there, and there's different franchises still broken up in different companies and Universal and Fox and all this stuff. It's nice to have like one company that owns the whole franchise of DC, because then they obviously can just, it's really funny that they haven't taken more advantage of that, because Marvel seemed to do a lot of like little deals to bring Spider-Man into a movie and then go talk to these people because they want to use this character and I have to make a deal with these guys, where Warner Brothers owns everything. So like, why hold back? Like, why not just like the Justice League movies? Like, show me Booster Gold for 5 seconds on screen. Show me like 5 Green Lanterns. Like, what are you holding back for? You don't have any worries, right? Like, use that advantage you have. That's what I've always wondered why they haven't done more of, right?
Yeah, like the movies they put out haven't been really that great. I did like Shazam. The original Captain Marvel, and Wonder Woman I really liked.
Yeah, Wonder Woman was great. The new one looks really good too.
Yeah, what was it,
1984 or something like that?
Yeah. So that looks really good. I'm excited to wait for that. I guess we'll have to wait till next year to see that.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, it'd be we'll see when we get back into theaters. But in the meantime, there's still it's one of those interesting things, right? Like as devoted comic book fans, like I still got 80 years of comics to read, right? Like it's not like there's still a lot of stories. I don't have to wait for the new movie. There's a lot of stuff I haven't read. But yeah, I'm finding it all really, really fascinating right now. There's so much going on. I don't know what's going to go on with this whole DC leaving Diamond. A lot of people, like I have a friend of mine who runs an amazing, one of the best comic book stores on the planet, bar none. And he showed me behind the scenes, because I was debating about opening a comic book store at one point. He showed me behind the scenes, brought me down and stayed at a place overnight, just worked the shop with him. He showed, like, you would not believe what Diamond is like still to this day. He's owned the comic book shop for 15 years, and he said like 5 Wednesdays out of those 15 years, they got the order 100% right.
Wow.
Like there's always like a couple issues extra that he didn't order, or missing a few extras, or missing like it's just, and he showed me like their reports they send them. Do you remember the old printers where you have to use to rip the sides like that you'd load them onto that track? So they had like the printer paper had like
you're talking about
like
dot matrix?
Holes. Sorry?
Dot matrix?
Yeah. Those are the reports he still gets from Diamond. Done on dot matrix.
Wow.
like he talks to people at Diamond who don't really know that much about comics except they've seen a few movies. Like, people don't understand that Diamond's like this juggernaut in the industry where everybody goes through, like, you know, all the comic book companies go through Diamond. But if you were smart about it and did something proper and had a good rollout and some good backing, you could bury Diamond. Diamond's not that great. It's just they're the only.
Yeah.
So the fact that DC trying somebody new might be advantageous to a lot of people.
Well, somebody was saying, I was watching somebody's YouTube channel. I think it was Dan Frega's channel or something. They were talking about the Ninja Turtle comic book. And they were saying if it wasn't for Capital being out there, the book wouldn't have gotten out. I know with my own book, Max Burger, Diamond wouldn't carry it. They give me a list, a checklist, and they said, art's too rough. This is not good. This is not good. We're not going to carry it. Please send us more of your work later on so we can see if it gets better. I'm like, you're not a critic. You should just put it out and see if it will sell.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, they're going to get their cut. So why wouldn't you just put it out in the market and see what happens, right? It's not for them to be like, it's not like there's some sort of like comic book museum and they have limited space and they only have like, if you want to sell your comic and they can make a profit off it, then why wouldn't they? It's like, that's like Amazon saying, you know, like, oh no, we don't like your book. It's not good enough. So we're not going to put, like, Amazon doesn't care. Put it up. They'll print copies. They'll sell it. They'll take their points. And like, the market decides. Capitalism is beautiful. And that's what I love about capitalism. That will decide, you know, like, the fans will let Diamond know if they should continue to carry Max Burger.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's awesome. I'm loving what you're doing. Unfortunately, like I do have a job that usually gets me most days gets me home about 3 o'clock. So when you do your 2 o'clocks, I see it on my phone, but I'm like, I can't join. I can't really watch because I'm still at work technically. And then, you know, but I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to be on with you. This is really cool. I've been watching your unveiling of your new tech.
Yeah. It's fun, these little toys, you know?
Yeah.
The microphone.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I'm done. Go ahead. What were you going to say there, Mike?
Yeah, no, it's just wild. I always find it fun watching other people's journeys and stuff too, right? Because, I mean, you're just... you've obviously got a big drive. You do these shows every day. You've got this comic book you've been working on, and you keep working on it, keep honing your skills and upgrading what you can do, and just trying to make yourself, you know, like, you're following your dreams and your passion, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. You know, I've listened to motivational speakers like Les Brown talking about when you're your deathbed. You're laying there and all your characters that you've come up with come around your deathbed, and say, you never brought us to life. And I keep thinking that, going, you know, and I need to keep going at it. You know, there's days where I hate this drawing, looks terrible, and I want to give up. But I come back the next day and look at it again in a fresh eye, or I'll just tear it down and then start another page and then just redo it. But I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, well, I mean, why would you, right? Like, it's just, you know, so many people give up on dreams, give up on their hopes. I mean, one of the greatest inspirations, as far as I talk about this in a lot of my speaking and seminars, and I'll tell you a little bit more about me in a second, but one of the people I always refer to, especially for comic book fans, people don't realize Stan Lee wasn't 18 when he developed Spider-Man. Like, Stan Lee was in his 40s when he came up with most of these characters that people love and watch on the silver screen and play the games and watch the cartoons and stuff. Yeah, like, it's amazing. Like, it's not it's just incredible to see people who still later on in life are still pursuing to have that relentless passion, that relentless goals of like, okay, I'm just going to put it out in the world. I'm going to see what happens. And like, I'm sure you're one of these people that you'd rather just say like, what could I do with my life? Like, why hold back, right? Why? It'd be a shame for you not to find your passion and follow it. There's so many people who do that, and it's just sad.
Yeah, people usually give up, and then, or somebody tells them that they're not making the money they should be. The important thing is not always making the money. The money will come later. I've seen a lot of comic book artists, like Dave Sim. He went for, I think, several issues before money started coming in. He went to a convention once. It was told in a story that they threw their coats on his first issue as they came into the convention. They thought it was a table for just throwing their coats. Those first issues are worth a lot of money now. And Jeff Smith, I believe I heard that it took him, I think, a couple years before he started making any money, because the stores didn't realize till later that his books were selling. And he was ready to give up on Bone. Now he got a big deal with Celeste, some big book publisher or some Celestics or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Scholastic? Is it Scholastic or I can't?
That sounds familiar. Yeah, Scholastics. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a hard time pronouncing words, so.
It's all good. It is all good.
So, Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself and your book. And
well, what I do, I'm just going to share you really quickly to my share now. Excellent. I just want to make sure this gets shared and get some more people viewing, because I know I love watching your videos when I get a chance and stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
I got a ticker down here for you.
Sorry?
I got a ticker down here for you.
Excellent. That's awesome. Yeah, so this is really what I do in a nutshell. I run a company called The Hero Mission. Mm-hmm. Basically what I do is I've spoken internationally. I wrote a book called Invisible Capes, a guide to unleashing your superhero within. I do coaching seminars. I do public speaking. I do life coaching. I just basically do whatever I can. I feel like I've been imparted with, to quote one of my powers of my second favorite superhero. I feel like I've been blessed like the wisdom of Solomon. So I've got this drive to really share what I've learned and help other people grow. I've come from some very dark places in my life and fought back to have an amazing, beautiful, blessed, abundant life. And I just want to actually, the company motto of the Hero Mission is putting capes in the sky. And I just believe that everybody has their superpowers, and that if you want to, then I will help you work on them. And we'll just let you show you how to think better, do more, have more, like change your mindset. It's a lot of that kind of stuff. I feel like superheroes are always so inspiring. They've always been inspiring me since I was a kid. And so it's really just, that's what I do. I do a lot of inspirational speaking. I've spoken in churches. I've spoken at huge events. And I've addressed thousands of people over the course of years. And my book is selling copies all the time. People love reading it. They give me great feedback on it. The book's just about my journey in life and how and some of the things, some of the mindsets, some of the goals, some of the structures and disciplines that have gotten me to the place I'm at now.
Good. So you sound like more of a life coach kind of thing.
Yeah, I do life coaching, and like I said, I do life coaching. I've spoken all over. I've spoken in different places in Canada and the U.S. I've got my Super High Five at 5 that I'm doing currently, which is I'm going page by page, because I think in this day and age where there's lots of people at home, lots of people are worried, lots of crazy stuff going on in the world. I wanted to give back and give back out of my heart and out of a place of abundance. So I thought, well, why not go page by page through my book every day? So for 5 minutes every day, I've been going page by page through my book. And some people have picked up the book, they bought it off Amazon, and they've been reading through with me. And some people are just coming along for the ride and checking in when they can. But it makes me feel good because, like, you know, with the COVID thing, right? Like, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't have any degrees in microbiology or anything like this. I don't have all the answers to it. There are smarter people than me working on that stuff. So what can I do to make the world a better place right now? And that is to help and inspire others. That is to be a little light in this crazy darkness that's around us. And just throw on my cape and take to the skies.
Nice. I've been looking at it on Amazon here. I haven't got it yet because I've got a pile of books that just reached to the ceiling of the house. So so I'm like way behind on stuff. I've got a bunch of Dresden books I haven't gotten to yet. Some Harry Potter books I haven't gotten to. Peter David books that's been sitting there for like 10 years. So I'm way behind on books. I just finished off a Richard Castle book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's the last one they'll ever do because the show's been canceled. I think about a year or two ago. That's Nathan Fillion. I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
Oh, Nathan Fillion, the guy from Firefly?
Firefly, yeah. He was in a series called Castle. He was a writer who played as a mystery writer who falls in love with a detective in the New York Police Department, and he pursues her. So I think they ended it at season 8 or something. So
yeah, he's got a new show out, I think.
Yeah, it's a cop show or something. He plays a rookie. It's called The Rookie.
Yeah, but he's later in life, and he's like the new guy on the force. Yeah.
So.
I wonder how that.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just wondering how a show like that would go right now. I wonder how some of those police-themed shows are going to be doing right now with all the unrest we have in the world.
Yeah. I watched a few episodes when it first came on. I didn't like it. It's just something about it. I didn't get into it. So.
Yeah, well, we keep hoping for somebody to pick Firefly back up and keep doing it, even more episodes. But I think that's just a pipe dream at this point. If it happened, it would have happened already.
Well, I think what Whedon was trying to do was do it in continuity kind of thing. But now there's so many years that pass. What can he do to bring up with the characters, Yeah,
I think there'd be, if they could get everybody together again, I think they could probably pull it off. But it's just a matter of, it just seems like they're never going to get everybody together again. Like, everybody seems to be off doing their own projects and on different networks and stuff. It'd be a real challenge to get them together. Hopefully, and if they did get together, God knows nobody wants it to be on Fox again. So
well, it's owned by Disney now.
Oh,
because Disney bought everything.
Maybe we'll have a Marvel Firefly crossover where it'll be like Guardians of the Galaxy meet Firefly. I can see Star-Lord and Nathan Fillion together. That'd be hilarious.
Yeah. So Sean here says hello. He's a regular that comes on here. And so that would be kind of cool to see Star-Lord and Nathan's character. I can't remember his name, but such a good show. Firefly was amazing. Yeah, it was a good show. They put it out of order when they aired it, I heard. They showed it all out of order. It's like that Carl Urban had a show a couple years ago that was on Fox, and it was really good, but they did the same thing. It was a sci-fi show. It was really good. And
but then I started realizing they started doing the Firefly. They started changing when it was on, and then they also started changing, like, they didn't air it. They aired episodes out of order, and it just got confusing. And then after one season, they canceled it. But it was really, really good. Always liked Carl Urban as an actor. I've always enjoyed all the stuff he's been in. I'm trying to remember what that show was called. Oh. Carl Urban. There we go. It's the guy who plays Bones on Star Trek. Obviously, he's in The Boys.
Yeah. Didn't he do a science fiction one with Robot?
Yeah, Almost Human. That's what it was called. Almost Human.
Yeah, that was a good. I really liked that series, and I was disappointed that one got canceled too.
Yeah, that was another one of those shows that Fox, for some reason, just started showing them out of order. Didn't like the plot started to not make sense because they weren't shown in order, and then everything about it was really good. I really enjoyed that show, and like I said, I like Carl Urban. He was great as Judge Dredd. So, but I got to tell you, if you guys, whoever's watching, if you haven't watched it yet, my wife and I started. We're just gonna sit down today and watch episode 4. Have you seen Stargirl yet?
Yes, I have. That is
my
really,
gosh,
really
I'm losing my mind every episode. I'm so enjoying it.
Yeah, the production. Sean says here he was great as Dredd. He was good as Dredd. He never took off his helmet in the entire movie, like Stallone. He had the helmet on for a few minutes. Oh, I can't have that on anymore. Got to show my face, you know?
Well, it's one of those interesting things because it's something I started noticing as those Avenger Marvel movies started getting more popular and they started gaining steam. Yeah. You started seeing like battle scenes on the movie posters, but people aren't wearing their masks. Like you have to, like it's in some contract that you have to see Robert Downey Jr.'s face, and you have to see, like everybody's like full face. You can't, like, if I'm going to see the Avengers and I see Iron Man and his mask is down, I know it's Robert Downey Jr. Like, why do you have, like, it doesn't make any sense why you've got your helmet off in the middle of a fight.
Yeah. Or even Spider-Man. There was I think one of the Spider-Man movies, I was getting annoyed with, I think it was Toby was taking off his mask all the time. I'm like, yeah, why do we need you're Spider-Man? You don't take off your masks unless you're going to change or you run into Mary Jane and you want to reveal your identity. That's the only time you should take off your mask, you know?
Yeah, it's so silly. Just so silly. And I guess, but I'm loving, I got to say, like, probably one of the things I'm loving the most right now is that whole CW has got those. The CW is doing such a good job with superhero TV shows. I love the continuity between them all. I'm enjoying Supergirl to a certain degree. I love The Flash. I was sad when Arrow got, but I understand why Arrow's no longer on. Black Lightning's been good. There's so much good stuff on the CW. Legends of Tomorrow has become, this is their best stuff they're putting out, and it's their last season. It's so sad.
Yeah, is it their last season? I thought they had one more season.
No, from what I understand, this is it for them. It's their last hurrah. That's why they're like starting to write characters. Like, I don't know, I don't know if there's a spoiler alert on this or whatever. Spoiler alert! But I don't know, like 4 or 5 episodes ago, the Atom, Ray Palmer, he left his character left the show, and they're starting to slowly wrap up some people's storylines, and from what I understand, I could be totally wrong, but from what I understand, this is the last season, which is really sad because they're really doing a great job with it. And it's another one of those shows. It's always been the show that drives me crazy sometimes because it's a rotating crew. So, like, certain seasons, we've had another version of the Flash on it and Firestorm, and it's like, why wouldn't you just have a couple members of the crew who are always rotating? Like, that's part of the show, right? And you just have you know, and then those two characters, you give us your B-level superheroes. Give us, you know, like this would have been the show to have Lobo on, or to have, like I said, Booster Gold, or the Blue Beetle.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, like have well, I guess you can't have Nightwing on because he's on Titans. But I mean, there's just a lot. There's so many characters in the universe. It's one of those things that I wish Marvel would do is open up to, like, when you remember the big scene at the end of Endgame where, like, the portals all open up and it's just waves and waves and waves, right, coming out. I'd love to see an Avengers movie where they try to do a recruitment drive. So you see, like, heroes for, like, you know, what was the movie X-Men First Class, when they go into the scene, there's this scene where the young Professor X and young Magneto go into the bar to recruit Wolverine.
Yeah, I remember that F scene.
Yeah, like, it's hilarious.
Yeah,
but think if you did like a 15-20 minute thing with an Avengers movie where it's that, like, you're trying to go, like, maybe that'd be in the next movie. They're trying to go replace all their ranks, so they go around and they meet all these heroes, and maybe these heroes, you only see them ever for like 20 or 30 seconds.
Yeah, weren't they kind of doing that?
Like,
Were they trying to do that for Civil War? They had Cap training a bunch of new Avengers. Like,
yeah, but it's all
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, but I mean, those people were already, like, Scarlet Witch and was already in Age of Ultron, and, like, I'm just saying, like, if I look at my encyclopedia, hold on a second. Let me see here. I got it here somewhere. Give me a sec here. So I have this bad boy, the Marvel Encyclopedia, nice. And autographed by Stan Lee.
Nice.
And, like, this thing's got to be like a few hundred superheroes and villains in here. Like, I'm just saying, like, it'd be, like, as a comic book fan, it'd be awesome to see. You know, like, that's one thing they did in the X-Men kind of well. Like, sometimes they'd, like, the bad guys would come to attack the mansion. There was that scene where the mansion got attacked in one of the X-Men movies. And you got to see Colossus for the first time, but it was for like 20 seconds. As a comic book fan, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And you didn't have to write a lot of backstory. You didn't have to write a lot of this or that. You just throw them in and have some fun with it, right?
Yeah. But with Colossus, they couldn't use him because he was still owned by Fox, and I think they were still doing the deal. So characters like that for the X-Men, and I couldn't come over, which was too bad. You know?
Yeah. Well, I understand that, but I'm just thinking, like, if you take away all the X-Men characters, there's still a ton of other characters. Like, I've seen Howard the Duck for a few seconds in one of the Avengers movies. Like, if you're throwing in Howard the Duck, let's start throwing in more. Like, let's just start throwing in other characters and have some fun with it, right? You know, yeah. the one scene I keep thinking about that would be awesome in an Avengers movie is if they're doing a recruitment drive, and this is the casting I so want to see, because I'm a huge comic book fan, obviously, but I'm also a big wrestling fan, and I've always wanted to see on the big screen John Cena dressed up like Hercules. From Marvel Comics, I think he'd pull it off so well. If you just if you took a look at John Cena and put a beard on him, I'm like, holy crap, that's Hercules.
Now you got me trying to imagine what he with a beard and stuff. You know, maybe he could work. He's got the build for it. You know.
Yeah, and you don't have to make him like an Avenger. You just have him on screen for like 20 seconds while they're doing a recruitment drive.
Yeah. Now, Sean has said here the New Mutants are getting tossed around.
Oh, the New Mutants are yeah. Yeah, I'm so torn on the DC stuff, though. I'm obviously, I don't know if you'll get this, but I'm a really big DC fan compared to Marvel. Marvel kind of lost me after a while. I'm really loving my DC, and I'm so torn between like the family stuff you get from like the Flash and Supergirl and now Stargirl, and some of the like Titans. Titans is phenomenal, and the Doom Patrol.
I couldn't really get into Teen Titans. It just wasn't the Marv Wolfman and George Perez Teen Titans.
Are we talking about like? Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, the old comic book from the '80s that Marv Wolfman and George Perez did. I love those.
Well, no, I'm not talking about the comics. I'm talking about the series. Like, have you watched the first 2 seasons of Titans? That's incredible stuff. Not the cartoon, the live action stuff. Like, this season when they had debuted Nightwing. Oh my Lord.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, but I seen the first season. I wasn't impressed with it. I just didn't like Robin. I didn't like his attitude in the alleyway, and especially that trailer. I don't know if you've seen the trailer, and they said, "Where's Batman?" And he goes, "F Batman," which he doesn't say in the episode. I guess they took that out or something, but I didn't like it. I didn't like Starfire. She didn't look like who she looked like in the comic books. She looked like I'm sorry to say, but a cheap hooker. The woman who, they're all good actors. It didn't feel like my Teen Titans. It seemed to be too dark.
Yeah, well, I guess that's one of those things that some people are liking, right? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't. I think maybe that's a problem because the Teen Titans goes the other way when you look at the cartoon, right? It's super goofy and campy, and Teen Titans Go, and I don't know because, like I said, like I'm in a big toss up because I love how family friendly and how easy it is to watch something like The Flash, and Stargirl. I think's brought that a lot too. It's very, it's kind of like, like I wouldn't watch it with little kids, but I think it's more like a comic book, or meant to be more family friendly, meant to be more a little bit lighter and fun. And but I think there is a spot, because we've seen it with the Netflix TV shows for Marvel, like Daredevil, The Punisher, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones. There is spots where maybe you take characters into some dark places because it's it's not a bad place to go. I don't know. I think it's always interesting because you gotta it's such a weird dynamic psychologically when you think about what it would really be like if some billionaire had become his parents had got killed in front of him and he became this super crazy martial artist, detective, guardian of the night, kick everybody's butt, drive super duper cars and throw around batarangs, and then he takes this little boy in and trains him in a cave, and it all sounds like, if you take away the fun and I don't know, I guess it's also Batman, right? There's the campy Adam West version where it's piff and pow and we're all doing the Bat-Tusi.
Yeah.
Or you've got the Frank Miller Dark Knight, badass Batman. So I guess that's where it's hard, because I really like Titans. I can see where it would put a bunch of people off because it's a very dark show, but I'm really enjoying it.
I thought the characters looked fairly like their comic book, some of them, except for Starfire. Yeah. Victor, he didn't look too much like Cyborg. I think if they went a different route and started it off maybe a little bit cheery and then eventually went darker with the Trigon series, I might have maybe liked it a little bit better. Because it did go a bit dark in the original New Teen Titan comic books with Trigon and stuff. But they had a lot of the lighthearted. It was, typical superhero.
Yeah. Look, yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I mean, I just like the and I guess what superheroes always talk, and you know, a lot of studios have talked about this, is that it's sometimes what we see a character look like in comics does not translate well to the big screen, to any screen, to live action. Like, there's a reason Captain America's outfit doesn't look like it did in the original comics in the movies, right? Like, it seems silly if he was wearing that spandex rolling around, right? They made a sort of body armor and leather, you know, like they've got to sort of make it look. You couldn't have Christian Bale running around as Batman for 3 movies in the outfit that Adam West wore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a certain amount of realism, and I think that's like when you get a character like Starfire, how do you write a character into a show that has orange skin and glowing green eyes? Like, how do you just write her in that it sort of makes sense that she eventually ends up and she's got her own storyline going on, other than maybe she's an alien and there's some sort of she doesn't have orange skin? Is like it's some of these characters just don't translate well from page to screen the way they look, right?
Have you ever watched the Captain America TV show?
I've watched a lot of that stuff from the 70s and I've even watched bits of the old black and white serial. Yeah. Go ahead.
They give him a helmet, you know, Captain America, for his motorcycle.
Yeah, the motorcycle helmet with the wings painted on the side. Like, it's...
Yep.
Yeah.
Or the shield they give him that was transparent.
Yeah.
For his,
I kind of like
for his bike.
Yeah. I think there's certain characters that you can make look a certain way and they translate very well from page to screen. And then other ones are just... It's just a hard thing to do. Well, I mean, Beast Boy in that show doesn't run around with green skin all the time. That's kind of his thing in comic books, right? He always had green skin, and Starfire always had orange skin. But if you're going to write a show about a bunch of teenagers who come together for a common goal, like, they can't really have, like, there's so many issues with trying to write that. Like, there's a certain amount of disbelief when we read a comic, but when we see it on a screen, there has to be, you know, and Marvel's done it so well. I think that other companies are just going to always do that. They're going to try to sort of go, well, Marvel doesn't 100%, like, Marvel and Disney, when they're making movies now, let's be honest, they don't care that much about the die-hard, I've read this comic since I was six kind of fan. It's the general masses. I have friends of mine who are like, I love superheroes. I'm like, oh, well, what did you read growing up? I don't read comics. I've just seen the movies.
Yeah.
You've never read a comic book? You're running around with, like, Captain America this and your Avengers, and you're talking all about the stuff about the superheroes, and you've never read a comic book? Like, what? It seems kind of odd to me, but I don't begrudge them. I mean, but that's who the studios want to get, right? It's not. Yeah. They tried for years to just appease the comic book fans, and we showed up for opening weekend, and then numbers dropped off, and so they just sort of said, if we can make superhero movies that sort of please the diehard fans, but really do well with the big masses, that's where we have to go with this.
Yeah. But, you know, with some of those movies and stuff, you learn a lot of lessons, like Batman, with that scene with Alfred and Bruce. And Alfred says to Bruce, why do we fall?
Yeah.
So we can pick ourselves up. You know, I thought that was the most, you know, it just sticks in my head, that quote. You know, the scene with Peter Parker and Aunt May. And she gives him a big spiel about being a hero, where people would line up for hours just to see the hero come up.
Oh, for sure. 100. Yeah.
No,
trying to
Sean
figure
is
out here.
mentioned here.
Sorry?
No, Sean is making a mention here. Some force, the darkness is too much. Like Jay Leto, he forced the dark too much. But I can't pronounce his first name. Phoenix seems like he was natural. I guess they're talking about the newer Joker. I haven't seen that new Joker movie.
Yeah, neither have I. We got it on our hopefully watch list, but I find, sometimes I get a little lost on how many people seem to really be drawn, and there seems to be a lot of people in the world who find, for some strange reason, so much love for some of the biggest supervillains, right? Like people are like, I love the Joker, and it's kind of like when I go to like a comic book convention, there we go. It made it into that quote we were just talking about with Alfred said to Batman. It's actually in chapter 6 of my book.
Oh, wow, nice.
Yeah, actually, the last quote in my book, the last major quote in my book, is from the my favorite graphic novel of all time, Justice. With Alex Ross, it was the all the DC superheroes against all the DC bad guys. It's a great read if you haven't read it.
Yeah, I think I've read that a while back. It's George Perez, isn't it? Doing the artwork.
No, it's Alex Ross.
Oh, Alex Ross, right? The artist. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been fantastic.
I thought you were talking about the DC, the Avengers versus the Justice League.
Oh, that was a great one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
That whole thing's worth it just for that picture of Superman with Captain America's shield and Mjolnir in the other hand.
Yep. Yeah.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, it's been good. It's been I love being a comic book fan. I love comics. I love superheroes.
Do you find a change in comic books lately, in story wise and stuff like that? Because I've been finding they're not as fun as they used to be. Like they're more concrete in reality than fantasy. Because the old comic books from the 80s, 60s, 70s, and 80s were all kind of, they had some realism in the 80s, but it still had the a bit of fun and fantasy, where, you could get into another world and look at it and go, this is great to get away from the real world. The ones I read today, I'm finding harder to do that.
What I'm finding, I find with a lot of comics and some of the TV shows and stuff like that is they're really leaning into this whole they seem to be leaning into political viewpoints, which kind of drives me nuts. So, like for an example, like Supergirl, the TV show, has had many episodes where I was like, I don't know if I'm going to watch this again, because it seems like, okay, well, this is in the news, so some of the writers were upset about this, so this is what they put into the next episode of Supergirl, where I'm like, I don't really want to, like, I'm sitting down to have some fun. I'm sitting down to watch a Kryptonian smash, a Kryptonian fly around the city and smash all the bad guys and save the day and, make the world a better place. I find sometimes there's just too much of like everyone has to take a stance in the world now. So we've got to, like if I see this in the news, then I've got to put it in my comic. I got to put it in my TV show. I got to do this. And it's like, sometimes, like you said, some of us are just going to have like a little bit of a fun read. I don't want it to be super serious. I don't want to like I don't mind the fact, like, classic example is I won't watch U2 in concert anymore. The band U2, because I've seen them several times, and every time I see them, like, without fail, Bono stops it in the middle of the concert and talks about his views on apartheid and forgiving world debt. And I'm like, just like, I know these are great causes, but I just paid $100 to see you sing. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't the forum. When you did a press conference about how you feel about these things, I have watched those press conferences. If you write a blog, if you're on a talk show, I'll watch it and I'll hear that kind of stuff. But if I'm at a concert, I came to have some fun, to dance, to sing along to all those great songs. Like, if you want to stop it in the middle and be like, you know, like, this is all the injustices in the world and we have to talk about it right now. That's not what I came out on a Friday night to do.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe goes back to your point, right? Where it's like they're trying to get the fun out of it. Like, everything's got to be like, you know, I gotta take a stance, and I've got to. You know, it was interesting. I was talking to a friend the other day, and we were talking about like how, you know, like throughout history, people have had different views. Say, like, I'm conservative and you're a liberal, so I don't like Justin Trudeau, but you love him, right? Okay, so let's just say that for argument's sake.
Yeah.
So you got person A who's conservative, person B who's liberal, and they are friends, and they talk a little bit about politics, and they don't agree on politics, and they don't agree on a lot of things, but they still remain friends because they love comic books and they love the same movies and they went to the same high school and they, you know, they go to the same pub on Friday night and have a couple pints or whatever. They have all these other things going for them. So it's like, okay, we got that little bit of each of us that doesn't get along, but we got all these other things that really get us along. And I'm like, why is it so different now? Where it's everybody who's like, if you're on the left or the right, you're separating. And then I started looking at social media and I realized that I have friends who just, all they do is post political stuff. So they don't post anything about like the restaurant they go to or their favorite music or it's just all about politics and all about their views on from either the left or the right. So if that's all they've got going for them, then we're just going to keep butting heads if we don't agree, right? And I think that's where some of the TV and comics has gone. Is like, I'm a writer for this comic or a writer for this TV series, so I'm going to drop what I think is the best view of the world and what I think is right into this and just push it and push it and push it. And not bring in anything else, just my view. So right. if I agree with that view, I'm gonna buy your comic and watch your show and do your thing and follow you on everything. But if I don't, then I'm just gonna be like, well, I just want to see somebody fly around in a cape and punch the bad guys. Why are we talking about this in the middle of my cartoon or my show or my comic book, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry if that was too long-winded. I find it fascinating just to go over and, you know, just to sort of look at what's going on out there. Like I said, there's been a couple episodes of Supergirl, and I'm like, this makes no sense why this is in this episode in this season, except some writer has like decided this is something I have to get in this show because this is wrong in the world.
Is that the Dreamer issue? I'm not the issue, not an episode about Dreamer. Because I remember watching one with Dreamer, and then she got a threat because Dreamer in the Supergirl series is a transgender, I think it is. She or he was, and then she got a threatening letter or something, or a bomb or something, and Supergirl got all upset that was happening to her friend.
I think it's a wide variety of stuff. I think they're just, I'm sure you've heard about the new Marvel what is it? Marvel's got that new comic coming out, The New Warriors, and there's like Safe Space as a superhero and all that.
Yeah.
Just and if you watch Supergirl arcs over time too, you'll also notice that like they did a whole season while Donald Trump was all about the Mexican border. They did a whole season about aliens being put in, like actual aliens who were in Supergirl's TV show, actual aliens being put in internment camps by this evil old white man president. And like, it's just like, I don't, like, I'm coming to these, I think what some people forget is like, sometimes you can make the world a better place just by entertaining us, just by making us forget for 40 minutes, for 2 hours. Like, we get bombarded by all this stuff all the time. It's one of the things I think sports does really well for the most part. It's just like, I turn on the TV and for 3 hours, my favorite team, my favorite bunch of guys take the ice, take the field, get on the diamond, like, and they throw a ball around, shoot a puck, they punch each other, they whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine watching a UFC fight, and in the middle of the fight, one of the fighters goes like, time out, and he grabs a microphone, and he's like, I want to talk about this political issue right now before we fight anymore. Like, no, like, just give us, sometimes the entertainment is what we really need. We all get bombarded by social issues all the time. And I don't need to be clubbed over the head while I'm trying to watch a fun little superhero show.
Yeah, we want to get away. We want to be inspired by the hero and have fun reading it. Yeah,
exactly.
Because I won't watch Supergirl. The last episode I saw that I didn't like. I just said, no, I'm not going to watch it anymore. I just I like her. I like looking at the actress who plays Supergirl. She's a nice looking woman. The stories were really good when they were over in another network. They seemed to be fun and joyous. She seemed to enjoy being Supergirl and saving people and stuff like that. And then it just got bogged down with politics. So I won't watch that. I haven't watched I watched one episode of Batwoman. I didn't like that. I didn't like some of the stuff that Kane said about the bat suit. Because what was it? Did you ever watch that the Batwoman TV series?
I've watched it. We've watched Batwoman. We're actually kind of enjoying it. I don't remember what she said about the suit though.
Well, I think Fox said that the suit was perfect, and she said it would be perfect once it fits a woman.
Oh.
Yeah, so it wasn't perfect for Batman, and she seemed to hate Batman because he didn't save her and her sister. And then I don't know if you've seen the Crisis one where they had the animated Batman's voice actor on there.
Kevin Conroy. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That Crisis episode. Crisis was good. I enjoyed it.
It seemed like they didn't spend that much money on special effects for this one. I was a little disappointed with Arrow being Spectre at the end, and spoiler that he died. But it was okay. The Flash scene was kind of neat. The two Flashes meeting in Star Lab, and it got a little freaky there when they were getting turned on by each other's costumes or something.
Yeah, it was fun. Like, I don't know. Like, I found parts of that were hard. Parts of that were, you could tell it was written by a whole, like, way too many writers.
Yeah.
Like, it seemed to me like, if you're going to do a crossover like that, you have to have a lot more collusion, because it seemed to me like certain characters, certain episodes of Crisis got way better writing than others. But I like what they did. I like they brought in Brandon Routh back as Superman. They brought Tom Welling in as Superman, or as Clark Kent, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought they had some really fun stuff. The Hall of Justice, Gleek, the Space Monkey.
Yeah. A lot of Easter eggs,
Yeah, I think they had a lot of fun with the, and I think they had as much fun as they were allowed too, right? Because I think that's the other thing we want is, like, if you've read comics your whole life, I've read them for over 40 years. I've been reading comics, and that's a lot of my friends, right? A lot of my friends have been reading them since they were kids, right? We're in the comics world. We're not in the big screen world. We've read and read and read and read comics and comics and comics. So we always have, like, as comic book fans, we're always like, well, they could have done this better. Why didn't they put this character in? Why couldn't they do, like, there's a certain amount that I think you just can't make comic book fans perfectly happy. Like, there's always going to be something we could, like, nitpick, like pick apart on a show, or, like on a costume or a character. I think there's just, yeah, it's so interesting. There's so much going on right now too. I don't know if you heard about the guy who plays Elastic Man on not Elastic, yeah.
On the Flash, the
Flash, yeah, he got let go.
Oh, was he let go? The Elongated Man?
Yeah, Elongated Man. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah, Elongated Man. He got let go.
Oh, he did. I liked him very much. I
love him too. Dibny. Yeah, Ralph. He was a great Ralph Dibny. He, he's gone from the show. They apparently found some tweets from 6 years ago that some fans didn't like, so they fired him.
Oh no! It's kind of like James Gunn in Guardians when they dug up some tweets that he had. Wow.
Yeah, Twitter's just a cesspool. Wow. I am not a fan of Twitter at all, because it just seems like it's the thing that, like, somebody sent out a tweet 10 years ago, and now we have to crucify them today. Like, it's
yeah. Well, see,
I don't agree with it at all.
Yeah. Sean says here, I agree, like a bar, no politics, no religion.
Yeah, I just think that I don't have time for people who can't look past someone's mistakes. I can assure you, I can guarantee you that 4 years ago, 6 years ago, last week, I may have said something or done something stupid or inappropriate.
Yeah.
And I felt terrible after I found out that it was appropriate, inappropriate. And, I know I would have apologized if it upset somebody and stuff like that. But if you're going to hold me accountable to the person I was 6 years ago, like, what?
Yeah, or even yesterday, because we change from day to day, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, we literally, like, if you look at cellular regeneration and how our DNA works and all that stuff, like, I had a health professional, a friend of mine, Kelly, and she explained it all to us one day, and it made my head spin. But basically, our cells are replacing themselves all the time. We're literally not the same person we were a year ago.
Yeah, we're just like the doctor, We're just like the doctor.
I just think it's, this is why people have such a hard time forgiving themselves, is because others can't forgive them. You said that thing 6 years ago. Yeah, I said something stupid 6 years ago. You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, but that means you're an awful, terrible person because of that thing you did back then. So you're fired. What? I haven't done anything like that in 6 years, but 6 years ago I did something stupid, so now I've got to pay for it because it's a tweet? and it's just social media. Just sometimes it's just such a weird place to play. I know you've talked about like recently, like somebody came to you and said, you know, like your comic won't be successful because you don't have enough the alphabet in it, right? LGBT
and women and stuff like that. Yeah, I just wanted to do it here.
Well,
go ahead.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think you have any issues with that, but if it doesn't relate to the story, it shouldn't be forced into the story. I think that's what we're coming back to with Supergirl and some of this stuff, some of the comics that are being written today.
Yeah.
It's like, if it's a natural progression or it makes sense for the story for certain types of characters to be in there, then it makes sense for certain types of characters to be in there.
Yeah.
If I write a comic book about Vikings invading Ireland, and I don't feature a lot of black people in the comic book, well, guess what?
Yeah.
There may not have been a lot of black people in the war, in the battle when Vikings invaded Ireland.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's just sort of like, it doesn't make sense to the story, and if it's not incorporated easily, then, you know, it's like, it's so here's another, like Supergirl, the show, her sister Alex, who came out, like, you know, she's come out in real life now apparently, but she's also come out in the TV show. Like, you know, she's a lesbian in the TV show, right?
Right.
I've never felt any of her relationships with other women forced. I've never felt like they're beating me with a stick. Like, you have to like this. Like, they all just seem really like any other relationship in the show. They just seem kind of natural, and, you know, they smile at each other, they go on a date, they kiss, they fall in love. Like, that's like natural stuff into a story makes sense for most of us. But it's like, we can also, most of us can tell when it's forced, when there's some sort of agenda behind it, like this safe space superhero. And
oh yeah,
like it's just what? Why would I? What? I don't know. I think that's where the underlying thing is, right? It's just forcing opinions and forcing agendas on people. Is just not how we go about making the world a better place. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think you sit down, you have discussions. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, because they didn't. The only character I saw back in the past that was gay, and they kind of had him in the closet, but they mentioned that he was it North Star? I think that's the name of the character from
North Star and Alpha Flight.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk, I mean, have you ever read any of the stuff with Midnighter and Apollo from The Authority?
No, I haven't read that, no.
Oh, The Authority's awesome, because Midnight and Apollo are just like, basically, they're plays on Batman and Superman, but they're gay partners.
Okay.
But the way it's written, it's so natural, and it's so like, it's just such a well-written, you just don't care that they're gay. Like, it doesn't matter that they're gay.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things, right? It's just, it's solid writing. It's just solid. Yeah, people can tell when it's forced. I don't know if you're a wrestling fan.
I watched a little bit in the 80s, but not anything recently.
Well, I mean, probably in the last, gosh, 15, 20 years, Vince McMahon's had a guy named Roman Reigns, and of course, we already talked about John Cena. Yeah. And the biggest hatred, those were two of the most hated guys in wrestling, because Vince McMahon decided that we were going to like them, whether we liked it or not. And he just forced them down our throats for years and years. And the fans fought back. They were like, we would love these guys if you just didn't force them down our throats. Let us get to like them, get to know them, develop them. But Vince McMahon was just like, no, from day one, these two guys, you're going to love them, whether you like it or not. They're going to be in every main event. They're going to beat all your favorite wrestlers. They're going to be the best wrestler, you know. They're going to get all the pushes, all the help, and it's just. And for the true wrestling fans, we just all went, no, stop forcing these wrestlers down our throat. We know who we like.
Yeah. So Sean says here, I totally agree with WWE.
Yeah. And I think it's just, anyways. So, yeah. So how I am going to get going here because I got some other stuff I got to get going on and doing here. But I'd love to be back on the show sometime and talk some more because I actually really enjoyed this. Plus, I have to go watch Stargirl. It's episode 4's out. So.
Oh, is it out? Okay.
Yeah, I got to go watch episode 4. It's this week's Wildcat. So.
Ooh. Yes, sir. Well,
I'm loving.
Well, she's
loving
recruiting.
Stargirl. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm loving it too. But they're recruiting and
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. It's just I'm dying to see. I'm really looking forward to when they finally show us Solomon Grundy in full. Like they've always kind of had him in the shadows, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I love that first episode when the whole Justice Society. Oh my gosh! Like. That's one thing that I'm so blown away by is it's not even the Justice League. The fact that they are building a show around the Justice Society. If you talk to most people, they'd have no idea who the Justice Society was.
Yeah.
A lot of comic book fans would, but your average person past the Avengers and the Justice League, they don't know many of the superheroes. And the X-Men, I guess. Those are your big superhero teams that everybody seems to know. But, yeah, I'm loving this Justice Society stuff. I've always been a big fan, so love all the DC stuff.
I thought with the costumes and stuff they showed, well, they had pictures and stuff, but I'm like going, these are really accurate. I'm like, wow. With the picture of the Flash, that almost looks like an Alex Ross painting that's up there. I wonder if they're going to get John Wesley Shipp to come in and play that version of the Flash.
I would love it if they did. It's on the CW, so, I mean, they've already used them several times. It'd make the most sense to do it, right?
Yeah.
And even in that first episode, when you saw them fight, I was like, they got these costumes so well. Like, they did these costumes so well with these guys. Like, I am just loving this show to pieces. Like it realistically, we now have to watch it in the middle of the afternoon because if I watch it right before bed, I have a hard time sleeping. I'm so excited. I totally geek out on this show.
Cool.
I'm really hoping they get into some of the other members like Atom Smasher, and I doubt they'll do it. I so doubt they'll do it. But later on, versions of the Justice Society even had Black Adam and Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
If they had Captain Marvel on the TV, I'd lose my mind. So crazy. Be good.
Which Captain Marvel was that again? You said you did the Marvel one or the DC one?
No, the DC one. My second favorite superhero.
Oh.
Hold on a second.
Okay. Yeah, the big red cheese. Yeah. Yeah, he's one of my favorite too. Did you ever watch?
My second favorite superhero.
Did you ever watch the '70s series with Shazam?
Yeah, and I also have.
They drove around in that Winnebago all the time.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, and the gods were all animated. I thought that was.
I own the black and white cereal from the '40s.
Oh yeah, yeah. I own that too.
It's awesome. Not many people know it, but Captain Marvel was the first superhero on the big screen.
Yeah, and the special effects on that were really, really good. Because Superman, when they did Superman, every time he jumped to fly, he turned into an animated Superman and flies through the sky, where they had dummies on wires and stuff like that to do for Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
And,
it's amazing.
It wasn't anything
Always
like
good
the
to know
comic book.
Dave's.
Well, the series wasn't anything like the comic book. I think
Yeah.
he did meet the Wizard, but I think it was only a temporary power or something they give him.
Yeah, I can't remember. I got to go back and watch it again. It's a
Yeah.
lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. Well, I got an old TV back here. I'm gonna throw it on there and probably watch it maybe tonight. Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay.
Maybe we'll have to do a review sometime.
Yeah, we will. Well, I guess I'd let you go since you can watch Stargirl.
Yeah. I got to go get my geek on.
Yep. Do you want to give?
And I just want to let anybody know that's watching here right now that if you're struggling, if you've got some you got any sort of issues about your mindset, you're trying to find something, you feel kind of restless, or you don't have a lot of direction in life, I'd love to talk to you and see if we can work out something that would help you better your life. I am a superhero. I am a life coach, a speaker, an author. My book, Invisible Capes, is on Amazon, and it's half price right now on paperback and Kindle. So feel free to pick up a copy. If you're in the Southern Ontario and you pick yourself up a copy, I will even drive out and autograph it for you and give you some extras to go with that book.
Wow, that sounds like a good deal there, Mike. All right, so I've got the link there in the comments with the link to the Amazon page. I think it's selling here for $16.50 for the paperback, and there's a Kindle edition for $4.99.
Yep. It's very, very reasonable, and it's my life story. It's a lot of great advice and things that I've used over my life to live the life, become the superhero I've always been meant to be. So
Yes. All right. Well, thank you again, Mike, for coming in, and I had a great time chatting with you about comic books and all kinds of stuff.
awesome. It was great chatting with you today, William. I hope your listeners had a great time with this. And as always, from Mike Pickett at the Hero Mission, everyone out there listening and watching, stay super.
All right. And